world today, we have three market forces that we see as massively influencing. And first is the massive startup initiatives worldwide. What is it? 160,000 startups, begin every day. Startups start every day. That's social. But yet funding is tighter than it's ever been. And why is that? Well, if you read the news and you read about all these big AI companies in the US and around the world, they are soaking up a lot of investment. Well, that money has to come from somewhere. So that means people here in Asia may not directly be investing, but if somebody's in the US and they're investing, where are they getting that money? Because there is a limited amount of money in the world. 137,000 startups are launched every day, but fewer than 5% are successful, and a lot less than that are unicorns. What's going on? Where are we losing all this stuff? Well, that's what Founders Institute is for. So you may have a great idea, okay? You keep your idea to yourself. Everybody's worried about it, but we know when you fill this out, we will ask you if you want us to contact you. We will not contact you in any way, shape, or form. You will, once you hit submit, it will give you access to the notes, the docs, decks, notes, everything that we talk about tonight. Give me a couple days to get them in there because they may not be in there. And sometimes based on questions tonight, I will make adjustments and add things or take things away. Okay, but fill this in, and I put it into the form. So it's ZOA is the last letters. Yep, or XOA, XO5A. Okay. All right. So today we are automating, and what we wanted to do was create this. You are a founder. You have started your company, and so you want to be able to give your readers, your followers, you want to give them lots of lots of people going in and out here. You want to be able to motivate them. You say the same pitch every time, and it sucks. That's not going to motivate them. But if you can do things like connect from your vision and your mission, okay, and your values, and some things like that, like what I call our maxims. I did these on several years ago in one of my startups. I came up with maxims because my one of the other co-founders was really difficult, and I'd walk out into the room, and then everybody would cower, because of this difficult person. So he and I, and the team put together these maxims of what are good, what are good behaviors, and these are acceptable behaviors for being in business. And so this is what we have. These are some that we came up with. These are obviously different because these are mine now. But when you get a pitch, and you're always pitching, you get what you pitch for. So even if it's good or bad, you're going to pitch it into existence. Okay, and so that's one of the reasons we at our Founders Institute like this so much. Another influence comes from output. Your biggest influence is success. Okay, income follows assets. And then we use those assets to force. Anyway, so these are some really good. You can steal mine. Okay, I'm pretty sure I stole them from somewhere else. I shouldn't say stolen. I looked for inspiration and got ideas from different places. So I think these are Daniel Priestley's. But anyway, so now we take this. How do we use this? Okay, you're asking a really good question. And I actually did my N8N on a different. I'm going to stop sharing here and share again. Hi, everybody. I see everybody here. Here. Then, ta-da. Okay. So who here has ever seen N8N before? Who here has used N8N? I'm going to get me out of the way too. So N8N is what we call workflow. Okay. And there are times I'm going to share with you, show you my phone. This is an iPhone. It's an old one. It's an iPhone 11. And on my iPhone, I have created triggers for my um, for Telegram. Okay, and I use Telegram because you can only do this with a business account on WhatsApp. So WhatsApp, you can only use the business account, and so this may be, it's more expensive. And for a startup founder, we want to make sure we are not more expensive. We want to keep costs low. Yes, you want to invest in things that you know will work. And I have a story about that in a little bit that I'm going to share with you about a meeting I had this morning with a vendor that I will recommend, not because I'm getting a commission, but because my guy who works there, Daniel, is like a rock solid dude, and I want to flip him some business if I can. So anyway, so this is N8N. This is what we call a workflow. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Well, and in this workflow, what it does is it's going to answer. I'm going to send it a message with a trigger, and it's going to say, is this audio? If it's audio, it's going to come up here. Or is it just text? It's going to come down here. Then it's going to, in this section, this part, it's going to parse the output. And I'm going to say, if I show this to you. Well, I'm going to give it 3 commands. The first is, in what way do I want to share this encouragement or this motivation? Okay, is it to an all hands meeting? Is it a poster on the wall? Is it just a WhatsApp chat? Right. So how do I want to do it? And is it good or bad? Okay. And so basically, if it's this isn't what we expect, this is out of our expectations, meaning bad, I'm going to do that personally, if at all possible, face to face. Okay. And what was the event? What happened? So those are the 3 things. Was it a major milestone? Was it you landed that sale, or you got an automation up and running? Well, and so in the trigger, and I'll show you the trigger here in a minute, I'm going to send a message. Then it switches these. Then it says, okay, it's going to parse the input. So if it parses the input, it's going to separate those 3 parts. Okay? And in this one, it will check. Are they clear? Are they separated? Cecilia, you keep getting bumped out. Okay, welcome back, Cecilia. Okay. Are they separate? Are they clear? Because if they're not clear, how is my chatbot going to actually create a motivational statement? And if they're not clear, this Telegram fallback, what it does is it will send a message back to Telegram saying, these are not clear. This is not how you're doing it. Okay, this isn't what we asked for, and so you need to redo it. But if it's close, it will still send it to my agent. And let me open up some of these. So what this is, and this is the output from before. This is my Telegram trigger. I'll tell you more about Telegram and creating triggers in a minute. But then here's the switch. Okay, so what kind of voice or text? For the last one I sent was text. That's why this is red. Then since it's a text, it's just going to send it straight to the parse. Then where's the text, then breaks it up and sends it on to the, the transcribing part. If it's not, then it breaks it apart. Okay, first is going to first, and then second right here, and then third. This is a milestone, right? So, and I'll show you those in a minute. So if the parsing failed, then it say, hey, that's not okay, but it didn't fail, and so it sends it to my agent. So my agent has the all of these definitions that I put in there. And I'll show you this in a bit. Okay, and then well, then the next it goes to my go to chat model. So here we go to the chat model, and here is where I've given it, which model, the temperature, and how to do it. First, then you got the first, second, third. Now it's going to produce count them, 5 different samples of text, of content. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. And it will give me 5 different ways to motivate or pitch to that team member or that team who did something good, or that we need to work on something bad, that wasn't the best. Okay, and so that's where we do this, and these are hooked up to my Google accounts. So that's why I can use Flash here. Yeah, and that's why I'm using Flash. And let's see, go back to Canvas here. So then also it has a memory, and that memory can be less than helpful. But so then it has a memory, so it kind of keeps track of what you're doing. And then it sends to 11 labs. Okay, so now I've got 11 labs account, like 2 of them. And in 11 labs, what this does is it takes the voice and it takes it and changes it, or changes the text into speech. Now, I can, with my 11 labs account, I can set it up so it uses a different voice, a similar voice. I can put my own voice in there, right? And that the 11 labs account, you can get the lower priced one for, I think, $5. I think I have the $10 one per month, right? And so that works really well. And you can also do a Jarvis voice. If any of you have seen Iron Man, and his assistant Jarvis, kind of has an attitude, and that's 11 labs, and you can do that in 11 labs. So then they send it, and then they send me back a file into my into my Telegram. Okay, and so that will, so that's the process, and and it changes it into. So what I'm going to do is I have let's see, I have something that I just copy and paste in there. And the reason I copy and paste it is it takes a lot less time even than to do voice to text. But I do have this set up for voice to text. Okay, so the execute workflow, boom, there it goes. I just sent it, and you can see zip, 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 zip. So right now the agent is working with Gemini chat model, and they put it in memory, and then they're converting it text to speech, and this takes a while. So running for 17 seconds. So right now I have 3,500 tokens. I think I've used about 400 tokens testing this today and setting up this one. But you can do a local N8N account, and so you can just download it. It takes a little more maintenance. So if you're not all tech savvy, then you may want to rethink that. But if you want to just get it up and running and going, workflow executed successfully. So now that's the workflow. And they say, yeah, you don't need, no coding required, but you still need to know the flow, right? You need to know AI, how to prompt an AI, how to Do something like a general adversarial network, GAN. You need to know how to basically work with AI more than just asking ChatGPT for an answer. So we can get creative with AI, we can brainstorm with AI, but you need to know all of those skills, and then you can do something like this. And like for me, I have a session like this weekend, starting on Saturday, where it's an AI course. So just DM me if you're curious about that. It's more for your beginners. If you use AI, GPT or Gemini, Grok, or X, or Grok, or what's the other one? No, Claude or Llama. If you use those on an ongoing basis, but you're just doing the same thing over and over, then that's where I come in. And if you just DM me, okay. So I'm going to stop sharing there, and now I'm going to share on my. Where's my share button? Okay, I'm going to share my cloud. Okay. So now I've set it up. So I just pasted this in. And this is what I pasted in. 741. It's 744. Oh, I talked too much. 744. So that's what I did. And this is the audio file that it gave me. And I can't hear a thing.
Okay,
oh, there it is.
You've got a truly impactful and positive message to deliver. Here are a few more fresh options for your shout-out, ensuring it hits all 3 of your key points with distinct phrasing. Option 1, the elevating our standards angle. All right, team, I've got some fantastic news and a huge shout-out to teams share individuals' names. You've just completed a pivotal automation project, marking a truly significant milestone for us. This isn't just a technical achievement. It's a positive step that elevates our operational standards and will make things run incredibly smoothly. Thank you for setting this new bar. Option 2, focusing on smart solutions and accelerated progress. Let's give a massive round of applause to Chpoin, team, individuals' names, Eskin. They've reached a critical milestone by successfully implementing a smart new automation. This is a huge positive for the entire company, as it will significantly accelerate our processes and ensure everything runs with much greater ease and smoothness. Congratulations on this impactful work. Option 3, more direct game changer with emphasis on making work easier. Whew, I've got a fantastic shout out to give today. A massive congratulations to team, individuals' names. Aussie, you've just hit a huge milestone by completing that automation project. And frankly, it's a game changer. This is a brilliant, positive step that's going to make everyone's work life smoother and more efficient. We deeply appreciate your hard work and vision. Option 4, highlighting strategic improvement and long-term benefit. I want to recognize some truly strategic and impactful work today. A huge shout-out goes to DASWA's team, individuals' names, for completing a major automation, marking a big milestone for the company. This isn't just a quick fix. It's a positive, long-term improvement that will ensure our systems run significantly smoother, well into the future. Thank you for this forward-thinking effort. Key things to remember for all options. Insert the specific names. Replace team, individuals' names with the actual people or team.
Okay, I'm not going to go through all the details there. And you can also download these files, right? But, and listening to that, I realized that they all sound quite similar, and they are, because it's the same situation, but it's using the different maxims for each one based on the vision, mission, values, and those 7 different maxims of behavior. So that's what it's doing. Okay, and I will go show you how we could add a written, like a text response. And you see these tests up here. I was using Google Sheets, so it would record all of the responses. So I can see in the future what I said to whom, or what I got from the bot. This is huge because especially with motivation, people remember, right? And what you said the same thing to Johnny last week or a month ago or last year when he did this, So it's important to keep that variety. Okay, but I'll show you that in a minute. Now, how do we create bots? Okay, so this is my LinkedIn lead bot, which I talked about last time. For the LinkedIn one, what that does is it scrapes LinkedIn for the characteristics that I'm looking for. It goes into LinkedIn. It will get, say, investors from Hong Kong. And so it will give me 10 up to 100 investors from Hong Kong in a day. Then it puts them into a spreadsheet. I can either manually say, yes, I want to talk to him or contact him, or not manually. Then it will create a 3-slide deck based on the values and the mission, vision, and the products that my company, or products or services, my company provides. Okay. Then the next step, it will send a message to the connection that I want to, or the investor, with that 3-slide deck that was automatically made. And you can either do it automatically or you can do the final check, which I prefer to do. I don't want something going out that I haven't checked. It's been a while since I had to change anything, but still, it's my reputation on the line. And then it also sets up an automatic scheduler, and it sends that automatic scheduler to those investors. And when I've scheduled a meeting with that investor, I go through and I obviously do a notes taking app on my machine. Then that note taking app then automatically updates a spreadsheet in the end. So that's what that's for. Now, how do you get these bots to work with N8N? Well, this is what we call bot father. Okay. So let's see when so I open this bot father, and basically you type in new bot, right? And it gives you a new bot, and you can do bot settings, you can do games, you can do web apps, lots of stuff, but you just say new bot. And now what? Huh? You didn't like that. Okay, so copy. I copied it that time. You guys saw that, right? Right? This is yes, this is no. Okay, so now your new bot, what would you like to name your bot? And I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to go through the process because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bots right now. One is just for an agent. One was my first one that I'm trying to figure out how to use. This one's for leads, and now this one's a team pitch bot. So I'm naming them according to their needs. And this is just my assistant who checks my email and checks my calendar for me, just by me saying, hey, check my calendar, right? And that's it. So anyway, this is bot father. This is how you create a bot that you would use in N8N. Pretty cool, huh? But just click on it and it will answer it. And it has some tricky names. It says you want to end with a bot. Somehow it let me end that one without it, but I was new, I didn't know any better. And then here it ended with the word bot. So that's in Telegram and using it for automation. Okay. And so next step, I'm going to come back to N8N and show you a few steps on how to add, and I won't be able to set it all up today. But here on N8N, I click up here and I'll say Google Sheets. And what this is I'm going to say append row in sheet, right? And then I hook it up to my Google account, Then let's say a pen row. I just click to here. So which one do you pitch yourself? All right, and then let's take which sheet, and now I'm hooked up to Google Sheets. Right? And what I want to do is I want it to take the output from this agent and put it into a Google Sheet. So this now I have this list of content, or the this day I said this and this and this. Okay, the three questions, first, second, and third, and this is what it gave me, and these are the suggested pitches it gave me, just like that. It's not that easy. Remember, I set it up before, and I had to set up things like the hooking up Google, and that takes a little bit of work too. But in later in October, I'm going to have a whole course on N8N for founders, startups, and I'm finding that in the world today, small businesses need this a lot. And one more thing, I want to set up Telegram so that it will get chat actions, leave a chat, send a chat, and edit text message, get a file, send a message, get a number chat, get a file, no, get a chat, right? So now I get a chat ID that's in the, and that's the one that it's assigned here at the beginning. So this chat, the next chat will be different ID, and then I'll just put it in here, and boom, now it will show on my screen in my Telegram. So that's, like you saw the audio file that showed up. Well, now it will be a text file also. And you can tell it to do different things. Give me an audio file with, kind of narrative and a little more information. You can do get a text file with more details and less story. And that's how I say it. I don't know if you would say it the same way, but that's up to you. Okay, so I wanted to show these two steps. Adding a step is just like that. It's not that easy, right? If you've ever watched on YouTube, the guy will say, do this, and then put that in, do this, and then put that in, and then it suddenly works, and it doesn't, right? It takes some time. My favorite way to do this, and what I will do, okay, so say it's not working, right? I will basically come over here and I'll download this file, and it comes down as a JSON file. I will upload the file into, actually Anthropic is giving me the best results. I say, Anthropic, why isn't this working? All right, and it will go through your code and say, oh, you're missing this, you're missing that. Okay, so if I did this right now, I uploaded it. So right here, actually, I probably don't want to do that. Here, if I uploaded it here, then this button tidies it up. Okay, so then now we've got 3 different streams. If I uploaded it, it would tell me what's wrong with get a chat. Okay, get a chat. Yeah, so that's what it does. So you can fix it just by using that. That took me forever to figure out. Right? And so these are things that it's my deal with people who are not developers. For those of you who are saying, wow, this looks cool, this is easy, take a class, join a group. I don't care what you do, but find some time when you're going to be around people, like once a week, right, where you can talk and ask questions, right? And that's why I'm being told I'm crazy because I've been doing these AI courses. where if you take my AI course, you have to ask questions. You're required to take turns saying, this is what I did, and this is the results I got. Because if you're not a developer, you don't know how to ask the right questions, right? And that's where, especially here at Founders Institute, we really want to focus on helping you learn the language, helping you learn the terms, helping you to understand what it is that a founder or an investor wants so that you can get funding. But most people who have never been in the game before don't know these things. And so that's what we focus on to help you get there. Okay, so now the one more thing that I really wanted to show you tonight is yeah, one more thing, and then we'll do a review. Okay, so the one last thing that I really wanted to show you is where? Oh, all right. So I know you've only known me, some of you know me because I see some faces and names that are quite familiar, but some of you have only known me for about an hour. Well, my master's degree is in public speaking. Okay? My doctorate is in adult education, looking at trainer communication. I love this stuff. I love workshops. I love retreats. If I could do that and I get paid for it, I'd just be the happiest unemployed, poor person on the planet. But I like to get paid. That there's something to that, and that's why, as an entrepreneur, we like to do things like this. Anyway, so what I'm showing you here is Yodlee. Okay. All right, and Yodlee is a pitch or presentation AI. Put it in. So I'm logged in. That's why it's saying app.yodlee. I'm going to put this into the chat. Where's my chat? Okay, there we go. Ring. Okay, let's see. And all right, it didn't do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Save. Okay, so this is Yodlee. Yodlee is a presentation, role play, upload. Right. So I've got a sample account here because I talked to the guy this morning. So you can practice role plays, you can practice speech. So say you get these motivations from your AI or from your workflow in N8N. They may not be exactly the way you talk. Okay, my student in one of my courses at Hong Kong U teaches advanced certificate in life coaching, and it's all about helping people, I guess, for me. And my student said, "This isn't how I talk. It's some simple language." I said, "Yeah, you're right, but you want to use it and a couple times, and then change it to the way you talk, because when you're pitching for $1 million US or $8 million US, there's a lot of pressure. Okay, that is some huge pressure with what when you're looking at it, you're going to talk differently. That is why we want to practice. And I heard the term a while back that you want to practice it so often that, or more often than you always get it right, but you want to practice it so often that you can't get it wrong. And that's really difficult when you're practicing on your own, especially that pitch, and I've seen founders say, I just don't have time to pitch. I need to go out and get more business. Right? And I don't have time to practice my pitching. I need to go out and get more business. Right? Okay, that's like the guys. I don't have time to sharpen my saw. I need to be chopping down trees. So that And that's what we're looking for, is helping you get better. All right. So this is Yodlee. You can practice role play, get a speech summary. Uh, you know, you can upload a summary. Okay? You can build a presentation and create a role play. Okay? You have the people, the scenarios, the people in the role play. Okay. Go to admin view. I don't know why I should have been an admin view. And then your dashboard of how much you've used. And again, I'm not getting kickbacks from Yodlee in any way. Okay. So, but obviously I just got this morning. But you can choose which analytics you're looking at. Filler words, non-filler words, repetition. Are you presenting? You don't want to say the same thing. You don't want to say the same thing. You don't want to say the same thing unless it's really important. Okay. Again, unless it's really important. So you're repeating things in the right way. They do eye contact, pacing, conscientiousness, conciseness. Sorry. If you're wordy and rambling, it'll do it. Listening. Do you take time to listen to their questions? Right? Are you listening to the questions asked? Okay. Usage. Your grammar, comments provided, comments received. Right. This is, you can check your own goals, pacing, filler, questions asked. Those are the things that I have marked here. So I'm going to do, when the next time I give a presentation, it's going to look for those, right? And then we can practice there. So my recordings, I did one this morning, but it was in a different account. So I could have shown it to you. And then my learning. So you got all these literal thinking, articulation. Somebody asked me, it's like, how often should I practice my pitch? And in Founders Institute, we want you practicing your pitch every week in front of the audience, right? So in Founders Institute, you don't always get to practice in front of the whole course, but we do breakout rooms where you need to practice at least part of your speech or pitch every single week. And the reason for this is because when you get under pressure, when you have that $1 million pitch, you have that opportunity, it's not going to be easy, right? And I worked with I have a startup client who had a pitch on last Monday. And so we met on Sunday and I coached him through. We spent a whole hour on a 1-minute pitch. Seriously, we spent the whole entire hour working on his 1-minute pitch because, it's an old saying. A professor friend of mine, when I used to be in academia, he said, if I'm going to be a consultant and I have a 2-day workshop, I will prepare for it for 1 hour because I just throw everything in. I just need to make sure it's organized. But if I have a 1-hour presentation, I'm going to prepare for it for 2 days because I need to make sure what I'm saying is right. It's pertains to the audience. It's relevant and important because I have so much time. But yet, when we go out on a daily basis, we don't practice that pitch much. And that's where the problem comes in. And so that's why in these first 5 sessions of this agentic AI that I'm working on, that we've developed for you, have been about pitching because there's so much it's so important, right? Everything you do, if you have a team that's more motivated and gets more done because they really appreciate you and you are giving them the credit and recognition that they want and deserve. And again, this is culturally sensitive. Some cultures it's a different way than others, but if you're giving it with dignity and respect, they're going to do more for you. They're going to fight that longest yard for you. And that's where we want those teams. So, and you can liken pitching to running a marathon. if you're an athlete, you're a marathon runner, you're going to go out there every day and you're going to run. You miss a day, not that big a deal. But do you feel like you're getting better every day? Not really. It doesn't really feel that much better. But what does happen is you're conditioning your muscles, you're conditioning your memory. And then sometimes it's boring. Sometimes I don't feel like it. And that's fine. But if you do at least something every day, then you're going to get better. And you're going to be able to go through in those clutch situations where you're in an elevator and turns out you're standing next to James Kwan. He's a famous ecosystem investor here in Hong Kong. And he said, hey, what are you doing? What are you working on? You can instantly be right on track to present what you want to say, when you want to say it, in the amount of time you have to say it. So that's key. And that's where we want to get you, right? See, because you never know when it's going to happen. And I liken it to swimming, right? Every day you get wet or take a shower, or at least we hope you do, right? Every day we hope you take that shower. Yeah. But that's so you're wet, you're in the water every day. But if you haven't taken a swimming lesson and we throw you in the deep end of the pool, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be terrifying, life-threatening, right? But you've been wet every day. What's the difference? Well, the difference is the situation, and we talk about that being the context of what you're doing is, so when you're practicing your role play, when you're practicing with your N8N and you have developed those N8N skills so that you can do it when you need to, that is when you really want to. Okay. So anyway, yeah, that's it for me. Usually we end at around 8:15. So now, do any of you have questions? If you do, type them into the chat. If you're afraid to do that, why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Because entrepreneurs have lots of time that they need. Oh, I need to put this info back into. I'm going to copy and paste this info back into, and DM me, direct message me if you're interested in developing your AI further. My info is in there. And then the other one is registration for the Hong Kong chapter. Let's go. So now if you're not in Hong Kong and you go into the fi.co website, it will shoot you to the local chapter. Yeah, don't have a problem with that. Right? As long as the local chapter gets you as a founder, that's great. But if you want to work with me, this guy right here, and my team here in Hong Kong, definitely use that link that I just gave you. See, join and target 120887, and then it will just sign you up. It will ask you to take the Founder Institute Entrepreneurial DNA quiz, and it ain't a quiz. It takes a while, but it basically goes through all of the factors that will you be a good entrepreneur? Do you like risk taking, or are you comfortable with risk taking? Are you outgoing? Are you determined? Right? And so, was it Peter Thiel? One of the guys who did PayPal, and he's kind of like one of those people in Silicon Valley where startups pay him 50,000 US just to have him as an advisor. And it's worth it because he has connections that will get you into investors, right? And James Kwan is the same one, just like that here in Hong Kong. He can get you to investors, and it's worth it having him on that as an advisor. So anyway, Peter Thiel is that guy, and he wrote a paper. I saw it in LinkedIn a while back, And he said the one thing that is the most important attribute of a successful startup founder: determination. Are you determined to make sure it works? And there you go. That's, and unless you're like my friend Ho Yin, he's an alumni for the Hong Kong Founder Institute. Ho Yin, and he'd probably hate me for telling you this story, but he started a company from Founders Institute, and he went out and made his company, and it was successful. So he sold it and got an exit, right? So which means a great big check, and that's a big check, and it says, it has a meaning. It means you're set for life, right? But he was bored, so he went out, and during COVID, he started another company. It's like a 3D online meeting platform. So instead of just going in and doing networking, like where you can't see anybody, he created a 3D platform and you can see people's faces at least. And then again, another company, I think it was meet.com or something like that, came in and bought his company, and then he exited again. So again, so now he has probably the resources to live 2 lifetimes, right? Set for life twice. But that's just how his mind works and how he thinks. And so I told him I need to spend more time with him. It's like, dude, you and I need to hang out together, because was that who's the guy, tip of the tongue, who said, Tony Robbins, quoted him a lot, but he said that your success is the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I truly believe that. One of the things we love about Founders Institute is you learn to hang out with founders, startups, investors, because most of the people on I shouldn't say most, a large percentage of the mentors we have here in Hong Kong are investors, and they invest in companies, and they want to see how you're doing. They come and they mentor our meetings so they can see your new ideas. They can see what you've created, so that when you are here, or when you take the Founders Institute course, you have that opportunity. So, and then again, I'm talking too long, but it is according to that time, 8:15. So I am going to tell you all to. Oh, did I give you that form? Let's see. I'm going to give you that form again. Publish and publish. Yeah. I'm going to do a shorter responder link this time. So here is the form for you to sign up. Copy it quick, because I'm going to close the meeting room here pretty soon. But yeah, there's the form to get the deck. Or well, we don't have much of a deck today. But the samples of the N8N, and the some of the notes, the maxims, and and my working doc, which will include the recording. You see here well, you can't see here. In my Zoom workplace, there's Warren's AI, or Dr. Warren's AI, that's taking notes. This is a Fathom recording. Now, it's really important, if you want this recording and the Fathom, and I have the paid version of Fathom, so you can reorder the summary, or you can search for content, action items, and things like that. You can do that. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Leo. You can do that by, and the link will be in there. Okay. But with an agreement with Founders Institute headquarters, you've enrolled in this through Founders Institute headquarters. They have your IP. I have your name, but I don't have any contact information for you. So for those of you, DM me about enrolling. If you have any questions, you want to learn more about AI, because that's why we do this, is to help you learn more so you'll be more successful, because that what comes around goes around on that one. Okay. So with that, my next And yeah, with that, oh, thank you. Always helpful. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Leo. And thank you all for coming tonight. I wish you goodbye, good luck, and thank you, Daniel. Thank you, everyone.